I'm so glad I was already dead by the time they made this one. Star Wars, Episode 8, The Last Jedi. Directed by Rian Johnson and produced by Kathleen Kennedy at Disney Lucasfilm. According to Peter Travers of Rolling Stone, it's full of knockout fun surprises, marvelous adventure, and shocking revelations. If by knockout fun surprises you mean this film is actually terrible, marvelous adventure being a low-speed chase, and shocking revelations being Rey is still just powerful because reasons, Snoke doesn't matter, and my son is now the biggest loser in the universe, then yes, it is indeed full of knockout fun surprises, marvelous adventure, and shocking revelations. The plot of The Last Jedi is simple. The rebels are running out of space gas. They're just putting along with the First Order hot on their heels. Now, the First Order could say, you know what? Let's send half of our fleet into light speed, catch the rebellion in a pincer movement, and put an end to this destructive conflict. But instead, they say, you know what? Let's just hang back. Let's take some pot shots at them. Let's just kind of bug them for a bit. They gotta run out of gas eventually, right? And then we'll deal with them. Rey, meanwhile, is on Octu. She went there to be trained in the ways of the Force by my son. And here's where the film could have been great, but it wasn't. They decided to take my son, the most optimistic Jedi in the galaxy, and turn him into a bitter old man who hates the Force, who hates the universe, and hates himself. He thinks the Jedi should end, despite the fact that there is a growing dark side threat in the galaxy at this very moment. Rey went there to be trained by him. They got that part right. But then they were like, you know what? Who needs a hero's journey? Who needs struggles to overcome? Who needs emotional stakes? We don't need any of that. This is 2018, baby. Finn, he's shoved off to a side quest on Canto Bight with an annoying sidekick in a mustard-colored jumpsuit to say, capitalism's bad. Don't give the man your dollar. Despite the fact that they are capitalizing on the most profitable film franchise in cinema history, and they're still screwing it up because this film was dropped from theaters in China 2 weeks into its run. Let's talk about Space Golem in a Hugh Hefner robe, otherwise known as Supreme Leader Snoke. He is a non-character. He has no purpose in this movie besides yelling at my grandson from time to time. Who, by the way, it's gotta be the Solo in that boy. Because there's no way there's any of me in that pasty, whiny, obnoxious little punk. Space Golem puts a mental link between my grandson and Rey. And if you recall, he kidnapped Rey, tortured her, murdered her father figure in front of her, and tried to kill her and her best friend in the last film. She sees him with her shirt off one time, turns into a stammering little schoolgirl with a crush, and they actually start liking each other. It's terrible writing and terrible filmmaking. I can't talk about the ending without giving away spoilers, but let's just say they had the perfect opportunity to do what fans have wanted to see for years, and they didn't do it because they wanted to subvert our expectations. Well, guess what, Ryan? I was expecting to be entertained by a Star Wars movie, so good job. Expectations subverted. And let's talk about this rebel soldier. He could have said, "Sir, Imperial walkers approaching across the salt flats," but instead he runs his fingers across the ground, tastes it, and says, salt, just to tell everyone, hey, this isn't Hoth. Even though we're on a white planet with enemy walkers coming at us, this isn't like Episode 5. We're totally original. The best way I can describe watching The Last Jedi is like this. There's this creepy kid at school. He's got the coolest toys. You really love these toys, and he knows it. So he dangles this toy in front of your face and says, "Hey, look at this super neat toy. It's pretty wizard, right? But guess what? It's my toy. And I don't even want to play with it. I just don't want you to be able to play with it or enjoy it. So I'm just going to break it. And you're going to have to watch me do it." Then he congratulates himself for what a wonderful job he did breaking it. Then when you get a little angry that he broke this perfectly good toy, he acts like a victim, like he did nothing wrong, and begins verbally attacking you for having the opinion of, "Hey, maybe you shouldn't have broken this perfectly good toy, you dipstick." Alderaan is lucky they never had to watch this. Tarkin is lucky he never had to watch this. The Emperor himself is lucky I picked him up and tossed his sorry wrinkly old butt down the reactor core of the Death Star because he never had to watch this. They stole from anime, they stole from fan fiction, they stole from Battlestar Galactica, and then they crapped all over my son. And nobody messes with my son. I give this film 1 out of 5 Death Stars. And would I watch it again? No! This has been Vader Reviews, and always remember, you don't know the power of the dark side.